You're listening to PetLifeRadio.com.
I'm Smiley the dog. I am a mutt. I'm Smiley the dog. I'm super smiley. I have a cat, too sweet, the travel kitty. I have a good girlfriend, Angel's really pretty. I have a pony and we share a big horse. We have a big yard. Yeah, we have to, of course. I have a pool. In the summer I stay cool. To a fountain, live in the mountain, live high on the hog. Need to be a spokes dog. I'm Smiley the dog. I am a mutt. I'm Smiley the dog. I'm super smiley.
Woof and Super Smiles. Welcome to a Super Smiley adventure on Pet Life Radio, the largest pet radio network in the world. I'm Megan Blake, here with my giant mutt sidekick, Super Smiley, and we're also a Toot Sweet the Travel Kitty. Today, we're coming to you from our Super Smiley Adventure Studios in Malibu, California. And Smiley has taken us on another grand adventure that is something wonderful and the only one of its kind in the entire world. To give you a hint, our guests are Talaat Captan, a wonderful film producer who's worked with great actors like Kiefer Sutherland, who's one of my favorites. And I have to mention that I was honored to be in one of Talaat's films also, the sci-fi film Digital Man. And Talaat also owns and operates the largest aviation-themed film and television studio in the world, specializing in airplane sets and shots like the crazy fun scenes in Bridesmaids. I love that movie. Hey, Talaat.
Hi, Megan. How are you?
I'm good. It's so good to have you on our show. Is your little dog Lucky there with you today?
No, he's not with me today, but thank you so much for having me on your show.
Oh, you're very, very welcome. And joining us also is an extremely important guest with the Guide Dogs for the Blind, puppy raising advisor Rick Wilcox, who gets the guide dogs off to the very best start by finding them the amazing volunteers who raise the potential guide dogs when they're just puppies, before they enter the more specific guide dog training. Welcome, Rick Wilcox.
Thank you, Megan. It's nice to be here. Thank you.
We're so happy to have both of you here. And Rick, do you have one of the puppies or a dog there with you?
I do have one of our career change dogs, the dogs I raised as a puppy. It's a little yellow Labrador. Her name is Hark, and she pretty much stays pretty close to me and lays next to my desk while I'm working.
Aw, I have one of those too. I have a giant one named Smiley, and he kind of just stays pretty close to me as well. And Talaat, usually Lucky's there with you, but Lucky stayed home today, is that right?
Well, he's with my wife today. He's, they're going for a long walk today. So he's very excited.
Oh, he's going to love that. Okay, so the big question is, what brought this unlikely duo together for an amazing day of 60 puppies at a Hollywood film studio purpose for shooting airplane scenes, and they're not there to shoot a movie? Well, it all started because Talaat Captan, the brilliant forward thinker that he is, had a vision: how Air Hollywood could help dogs and help people. And we'll be right back after this break with Rick Wilcox, puppy raising advisor for the Guide Dogs for the Blind, and Talaat Captan, film producer and president of Air Hollywood. Smiley was there on Air Hollywood's K-9's debut, so this is going to be super fun. Smiley, can you wait? Good boy.
Sit, stay. We'll be right back after a short pause. Well, 4 to be exact.
I'm Smiley the dog. I'm Super Smiley. Must walk.
Petco, where the pets go. Petco, where the pets go.
Pet Life Radio has tail-wagging, fur-flying, fabulous deals for our listeners from Petco. Get $6 off your order of $60 or more, and up to 40% off the entire Petco site. That's right. But that's not all. Because you're a Pet Life Radio listener, you'll also get free shipping on your order of $49 or more. $6 off, up to 40% off, and free shipping from Pet Life Radio and Petco. To get these awesome deals, go to PetcoDeals.com. That's PetcoDeals.com.
Petco, where the pets go.
I'm not much of a reader, but I do wish I were more well-read.
There are so many great books coming out. I wish I could find a way to keep up.
Audible.com makes it easy to stay well informed and catch up on your reading simply by listening. Audiobooks from Audible turn downtime into uptime. You'll be more productive and become well read.
Now I'm able to catch up on all the great books I've been wanting to read.
With Audible, I feel smarter.
Pet Life Radio listeners, try Audible.com now and get your first 30 days of Audible Listener Gold membership plan free. And get a free audiobook. Choose from over 100,000 titles. To get this great deal, go to audibledeals.com. That's audibledeals.com.
Let's Talk Pets on PetLifeRadio.com.
And we're back on a super smiley adventure on Pet Life Radio, the largest pet radio network in the world, with guide dogs for the blind puppy raiser advisor, Rick Wilcox, and Hollywood and international film producer and studio mogul, Talaat Captan. So let's start at the very beginning of what brought us all here together. Talaat, you had been a film producer for years and needed to shoot a series on an airplane and were having trouble finding the right set, right? Tell us about that.
Correct. Well, I was filming a movie called Ground Control. It's a film about air traffic controllers and pilots. It's how they communicate, and it's a drama story. It's a very interesting story. And I decided to make this movie, and I went there. We started filming, and we run into so much problems trying to film on an airplane because airplanes are made to fly. They're not made to be filmed on. So it was really hard to find an airplane. And also airport, because of security and noise and productions, it's really, really hard to be able to film inside of an airport. It's a very, very difficult process. So it really cost us a lot of money over budget to make this movie happen. But when we wrapped the film and we finished, I took a look at the industry, and I thought that when there is so much shortage, must be a demand. So I did my homework, and I started building what we call the largest aviation film studios in the world, and it's called Air Hollywood.
This is what I absolutely love about you. You need something, you just create it. And as I mentioned, the scenes in Bridesmaids, those scenes are some of the funniest scenes ever. What other movies and shows have we seen your sets in?
Well, we've done over 500 movies, and we've done commercials, hundreds and hundreds of commercials, music videos. I mean, you name it, anytime you see it. I mean, from Red Eye to Quentin Tarantino movies, any films that usually takes place on an airplane usually is shot in our studio. And also commercials, the Corona commercial. There are just so many commercials we do on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis. And a TV show, for example, right now we are filming this week Mike and Molly, First Day of You.
Yeah.
So we have a whole airplane. We're shooting that tonight.
Very, very cool, Talaat. And not only do you create your visions, but when you see something, you have the ability to use it to its highest good, which is what's happened here. Tell us about the Air Hollywood K-9 flight school.
Well, I was traveling, and I noticed there was a dog going through x-rays, going through the process of, the security, TSA, and the dog was really nervous, and you can see the owner was very nervous. And I said to myself, my God, I have the best facilities in the world to be able to train this dog to really feel comfortable going through this. And it was really a challenge. I started thinking, and this is when I decided, and I said this will be a great opportunity to create an environment for the dog to go through security, get on the plane, do the sound, the turbulence, and the whole entire process of getting on the plane.
It was a brilliant idea, Talaat, and it's working beautifully, as was shown on your very first day with your K-9 flight school. And this is where we met Rick. Rick Wilcox was there on the premiere of Air Hollywood's K-9 flight school, right, Rick?
Yes, correct.
And so let me start this picture off. First of all, on that day, there were over 60 puppies and handlers there going through the airport. So, Rick, describe the day for us. What was your experience of what you saw that day?
Well, it was incredible. Talaat provided us puppy raisers, the opportunity to really experience what it's like, to travel with a puppy, not only the airplane travel, but dealing and negotiating the crowds and baggage claim. And like Talaat mentioned, the security with the wands and the beeping. It's something that, nowadays with security at airports, we're just not allowed that type of experience. So it's really just invaluable, and I think it's much for our puppy raisers as for our puppies, because when you fly, if you've never flown with a dog, you may not know what you are going to experience or what security is going to ask you, and this is a way that everyone could experience it, and the dogs, but it was really a safe environment that if a dog was maybe a little sensitive to something, we could had the opportunity to rework that situation so the dog left, feeling comfortable. Where if you're flying the first time with the dog, there's once you're up, it is what it is, kind of. So
that's a good way to put it. When you're on the airplane, it is it is what it is. And I agree with you that the actual environment that day, it was so energized and so fun and so positive. And my cat, Toot Sweet the Travel Kitty, who's here with us now, he's flown over 130,000 miles with me as a cabin pet. And as you all know, Smiley and I were a pet travel spokes team for Toyota. And as a pet travel expert, I've given many travel tips on the radio and television. But Rick, like you said so well, nothing can compare with actually going through the airport in real life. I mean, you can see a demonstration or I can explain about going through security, but until you go through it with an animal and you realize that you have to take off all your belts and your shoes and remove the cell phones or computers and do all of this while handling your animal and making sure that you do it in the right order so you have enough hands to keep hold of your pet. And there's just nothing like going through the process. And Rick, after seeing the flight school, you just said that you think it was a very invaluable experience, not only for the pets, but for the people as well. And what do you think the people learned? I mean, how did that benefit the humans?
Well, I think one of the biggest benefits to them was, really knowing what to expect. With the guide dog puppy in training, which, some of our puppies do fly, we allow them to fly, within a certain radius of where our program is. So they probably don't know that TSA can ask you to remove the dog's collar and leash, and your dog has to sit while you walk through the security screening. And now your dog is basically off leash in an airport. And, some people, oh, gosh, I didn't, realize they could do that. Now, as a working guide or a working service dog, then that dog becomes an extension of the person, and TSA will pat down the dog and wand them, but they will not ask the dog to be removed from the handler. So some things that the puppy raisers weren't, sure of are really how much commotion and how small the dog has to get on an airplane to fit on the floor in front of you. And not out in the aisles. And so it's just a great opportunity that for us is the best because it's a controlled environment and something that we could control.
Absolutely. And Talaat, you have truly created an accurate interior of an airport. When dogs and their people go through the school, they're really getting the real life experience, just like Rick said. And that's what you intended, right, Talaat?
Directors and filmmakers are very fussy. They want to make sure that everything is authentic, everything looks exactly the way it's supposed to look in real life. So we have created an environment which is literally when you go inside on our airplanes, there's no way you can tell the difference. And it's very appealing for anyone when they go inside. They feel like they're sitting on an airplane.
Right. And the airplanes, you just mentioned the airplanes, they actually have turbulence. So with the use of the turbulence, we can evaluate how the pet will react and actually use this as a training experience, right?
Well, we also have, beside the turbulence, we created a sound library with the airplane engine and all the element that, the aircraft, the noises that it makes when they take off and land. So we had a sound, we had speakers built up on top of the airplane, so no one can see the speakers. Literally, you can hear them, and then the plane shakes, and people automatically feel like they are on a real airplane.
Absolutely. And like Rick also mentioned, you can see if your dog will even fit between the seats, if he wants to go in or if he balks at it. All kinds of distractions are there, like Talaat, you just said, the sound. And all of this is so important in training a dog working among the distractions. And these guide dogs and working dogs, they just have to be perfect. They have to be really on the spot in their behavior. So Rick, I would think that for a working dog, this sort of training is good to start as early as possible. Of course, after the fear imprint stage, but putting the puppies in there, it seems like a good thing to me. What do you think about that?
Oh, yes, 100%. I mean, the more we can expose our younger dogs to positive experiences, the better able they're going to be able to handle that, throughout their life. And it's not to them now a new situation. And we can take them to a lot of crowded, noisy areas as they, start maturing and their confidence builds. But to be able to do an airplane with turbulence and noises of an airplane, as Talaat mentioned, with engine noise and overhead speakers and such, is something you can set up a lot of things, but you can't set something like that up. So And incredible.
It is incredible. And, we've been mentioning the puppy raisers, the puppy training, and many people just never think about the stages of training a guide dog for the blind. But before these dogs start their actual specific guide dog training, they have to be socialized to everything that a person would encounter during their day. And that socialization comes in with the puppy raisers. Now, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to hear about how these cute, cuddly little puppies start their socialization and how you, the listeners, can become a puppy raiser for the Guide Dogs program. And Toot, Sweet, and Smiley are going to weigh in on their Air Hollywood K-9's flight school. We'll be right back.
Sit, stay. We'll be right back after a short pause. Well, 4 to be exact.
I'm Smiley the dog. I'm Super Smiley. Let's rock!
Introducing the new Bret Michaels Pets Rock collection exclusively at PetSmart. I created it for the pets that rock your world.
Shop the Bret Michaels Pets Rock collection and celebrate PetSmart's 25th anniversary with up to 25% off thousands of items on the PetSmart site. Plus free shipping on orders of $49 or more. Go to PetSmartDeal.com. That's PetSmartDeal.com. PetSmartDeal.com.
I don't make any decisions about who to hire without going to Angie's List first.
You'll find reviews on home repair to healthcare, written by people just like you.
With Angie's List, I know who to call, and I know the results will be fantastic.
Angie's List. Who you can trust.
Go to angieslist.com/super and get 25% off any subscription. That's angieslist.com/super. SUPER.
Love your pets but wish their medications were a lot less expensive? They are at 1-800-PET-MEDS. You'll not only save on flea and heartworm medications, but on prescriptions for arthritis, incontinence, thyroid, and more. And you get fast service, free shipping, and a 100% satisfaction guarantee. Plus, our licensed pharmacists ensure accuracy, monitor drug interaction, and more. See why over 5 million people have trusted their pet's health to 1-800-PET-MEDS, America's largest pet pharmacy. Call now or order online.
Go to 1-800-PetMeds.com/adventure, ADVENTURE, to get 10% off any order and free shipping on orders of $39 or more at PetMeds.com.
Hi, this is Marcy Davis and my service dog Whistle, and we're your hosts of Working Like Dogs on Pet Life Radio. Working Like Dogs is the show where you can learn everything you ever wanted to know about working animals or working dogs. Whether you're a member of a working dog team or you've just seen a working dog or animal out at the mall or the grocery store and you're curious about how these amazing animals work with their human partners, then Working Like Dogs is the show for you. Join us for the inside scoop at Working Like Dogs on PetLifeRadio.com.
Let's talk pets.
Let's talk pets
On Pet Life Radio.
Pet Life Radio.
PetLifeRadio.com.
I am Tiffany from Radio Disney. I'm Jasmine from Radio Disney.
Jose from Radio Disney.
We're here on a Super Smiley adventure.
And we're back on a Super Smiley adventure on Pet Life Radio with film producer and president of Air Hollywood K-9 Flight School, Talaat Captan, and Rick Wilcox, puppy raiser advisor for Guide Dogs for the Blind. Rick, let's talk a little about working dogs and specifically guide dogs for the blind. Can you explain how important are your dogs in this program? They give such a service to people.
Right, they do. Well, Guide Dogs was established in 1942 originally to provide a trained dog to blind or visually impaired servicemen returning from World War II. And since then, it has expanded to serve, any person 16 years of age or older that is blind or visually impaired. And, we partner a trained dog with a person just to enhance their mobility and independence in a safe way. What the client receives from this is, the independence and the safety of a trained dog. It's not a sighted guide or certainly not a cane and that. It's so the people that use the dogs, it's, to them it's life-changing.
Right. And I'm always talking about how animals, I believe that they're healers and teachers. And in this case, they're partners. They truly are life partners for these people, integrating them back into the world, right?
Oh, yes. And, we've all heard about the human-animal bond and how important that is, to all of us that experience that. And the clients that, the blind or visually impaired, they have that same bond with their dog. And you can only imagine a dog that works side by side with you for 6 to 8 to 10 years, the bond that you would have and the trust that you would have in that animal.
Yeah, it's absolutely life-changing and life-affirming. And getting these puppies the best, solid, happy foundation is critical, and that's where the puppy raisers come in, right?
Correct. We place our puppies with volunteer puppy raisers when the puppies, anytime after they're 8 weeks old. So we get them started, quite early with teaching them, proper house behavior, some basic obedience, the socialization skills, so they learn some self-control, get used to all the sights and sounds, that they may experience as a working guide. And this is something we cannot do, once the dog is old, so, or old enough for formal training. So this is something our puppy raisers provide, and it's, certainly an invaluable service.
This is so cool. Let's say, like, if I love puppies and I want to be around puppies all the time, obviously our dogs don't stay puppies, they turn into big dogs. But by being a puppy raiser, I can have the puppy experience and be doing an amazing service at the same time. This is such a win-win-win situation, right?
It is. And, if you've experienced it and raised a puppy that goes on to become a working guide dog, and you're invited to the graduation to meet the person who's received the dog, and to know that you had some part in this whole process is pretty amazing. Certainly you get attached to them as you would, a pet, but, we always think of, I'm doing it for someone else, and just to know that silly little puppy you raise is now a serious working dog that's, somebody's trusting their life to is pretty amazing.
Wow. Yeah, I could imagine being there. I bet there's not a dry eye in that audience. What about that?
Right, yeah, take tissues to a graduation, correct.
Yes, take tissues. Well, how can we get more information about becoming a puppy raiser? Can you give us a website or someone to contact?
Yeah, we do have a website. It's www.guidedogs.com, and there's a lot of information about our puppy raising program. We have puppies in 8 western states now, and there's a lot of information about our formal training and all about our program in general.
Very, very cool. And when they sign up, maybe one of their stops will be at Air Hollywood K-9 School. How about that, Talaat?
Sounds really good.
And I mentioned that Smiley and I were there for the debut of your first K-9 flight school. And Talaat, you told me that when you were searching for information about pet travel, that Smiley and I kept coming up on the internet with all our travel tips and adventures. So you invited us to the flight school day, right?
Correct. And it's really nice if you wanted to see part of that day. We put a quick video out, and it's available on our site as well. It's called airhollywood.com, and you click on K-9 Flight School, and it's a lot of fun. We have it on YouTube as well, and you can see how many dogs were there and what we did, and we had a lot of fun. The feedback from that day, it was amazing. How many email and how many thank you card we got. It's for really people going through that experience. It was really, really a great. For me, it was an amazing feeling to try to help out. And I'm so glad that Rick accepted the invitation to come over and bring all these people in, and I'm so proud of that.
It was an amazing, amazing day. I really want to second what Talaat said and encourage everyone to go to airhollywood.com and look at those videos because it was such a fun, energizing experience for Smiley and me. We were surrounded by literally a sea of puppies and their handlers, and everybody was all smiles. And that's what I noticed. It was a fun, exciting adventure. People were laughing and telling puppy stories. And that actually is a wonderful atmosphere for dogs to know they're safe, to know that things are okay because their people are relaxed and happy. So it's a great way to reinforce the normalcy and the okayness of an airport, which is actually a very chaotic chaotic environment. And it's also, as Rick mentioned, a great way to desensitize any jitters because there were so many other happy puppies for maybe a scared puppy to model after. It was a great experience for Smiley and me. And Talaat, you're doing an amazing job. And Rick, I second Talaat. Thank you so much for bringing everyone, both of you. I think it was a great success. What do you all think about that day?
Well, it was a great success, and I can't thank Talaat and his staff for, again, providing us that opportunity. That's something that we would really never be able to do. And we certainly, his K-9 flight school is highly recommended by us, for anyone that would be flying or, maybe flying with a service dog. It's really an invaluable experience.
Very cool. And also, Talaat, like I said, we did a movie together a long time ago. They invited us that day to experience the flight school. And because of all of our travel experience, Talaat asked me to be Air Hollywood K-9 Flight School Program Director. And Smiley gave us the thumbs up. So we're very excited about continuing and expanding the program with you, Talaat. Thank you. That's very, very cool.
Megan, I've known you for many, many years. It's really an honor and proud to have you come and work with us. And know you love so much animals, and that's really perfect. And this is just the beginning. We trained the first group, and I know we're going to be training a lot of dogs, and we have our facilities, and it costs millions of dollars to put it together, but it is such a pleasure to have all these dogs come and really take the benefits from that, especially on weekends when people have time.
Yeah, I'm just smiling because the whole thing is so exciting to me. And Talaat, Toot Sweet the Travel Kitty, had an idea. He's the cat that's traveled 130,000 miles. He thought it would be a great idea to open it up to cabin pets as well. Because these are not working animals, but they're pets that fly in the cabin, under the seat in front of you. Because like I said, getting through security with a cabin pet can feel like a mini miracle. What do y'all think about that?
Well, I'll tell you what, we are, Air Hollywood's open for many opportunity, and we are the safest airline in the world. So you can come and you can literally bring your camel with you if you want to.
Okay.
Everything is possible at Air Hollywood.
Everything is possible. Have you shot any fun, comedies with any wild animals on the plane? I don't mean wild.
We had a horse inside our cabin for a commercial. I can't remember the commercial, but we had a horse. We have a lot of exotic animals as well. They come in here. They do all kinds of stuff on airplanes. And part of the Snake on the Plane was filmed here as well.
Yeah, I'm sure you have lots of stories you can tell us.
We have lots of stories happen here. It's really interesting to watch. And you can go on the site, and there's a Vimeo site, and you can see all our commercials we've done here. We have over 100 commercials.
It's so much fun to watch because now every time I see a television show, which is very, very common, and there's a scene in an airplane, I'm always thinking, oh, that's Talaat's plane. I wonder if we were in that one. It's really, really fun. And so we mentioned the working animals, of course, and then the cabin pets, but also some groups that deploy animal-assisted crisis response dogs. They sometimes qualify to fly to their deployment as working dogs. And Smiley's an animal-assisted crisis response dog with Hope. And they were recently on our show, and groups like this can also benefit from the flight school as well. So there are so many groups that you're going to touch, Talaat. So I think besides actors, you're going to be seeing a lot of four-legged passengers coming through your doors.
We're looking forward, not only guide dog, we're looking forward for anyone that really wants to travel and they want to feel comfortable flying with their pet, especially under 15 pounds, that they can go on the cabin with you to get them through. Even any dog going through a security TSA process is a nightmare. And what we do is we really try to make it to go through all the sounds of the security area, from the beeps to the rollers to wheelchair. I mean, this is what really important. I've seen so many dogs. I just sat down right next to the security at the airport, and you watch and see a dog goes through. It's a chaos.
It really is. When I was shooting Animal Attractions TV, we did a show on traveling and with Toot Sweet the Travel Kitty. And it just so happened when we were shooting in security, there was a woman and she got her little dog out of the carrier and sent the carrier through the x-ray machine. And she was holding this little dog that was squirming. It was taking all of her hands and all of her focus. And then the TSA person came up and said, you now need to remove your jacket, your belt, and your shoes and get your computer out of the bag. And she had no hands. So then everybody had to come over and stop the line and help her. So I can't emphasize, it's so important to practice, right? That's what you're saying, right?
Correct. And you really need to. And this is a great place to go through the process.
Right. And everybody, like Talaat said, it'd be so much fun to look at all the pictures from airhollywood.com and also on our Pet Life Radio, our Super Smiley Adventure show page on Pet Life Radio. When you're listening to the show, you can click the blue click here for photos, and we're going to have some photos up there too from our day at the K-9 flight school. And they're just so much fun. And we're going to be setting the K-9 flight school schedule very soon. So we're going to keep everybody posted. And if you're interested in the school, you can email me at Megan@PetLifeRadio.com, and we'll have the Air Hollywood emails up very, very soon too. But right now you can reach me at Megan@PetLifeRadio.com. And Rick Wilcox, thank you so much for all you do in helping create and shape these amazing guide dogs for the blind. Rick, would you give us your website again too, please?
Yes, it's www.guidedogs.com.
Very cool. And thank you, Rick. Thank you for everything you and all your volunteers do.
Well, thank you, and thanks again to Air Hollywood and Talaat for providing us that extraordinary experience.
It was a pleasure having you guys.
We look forward to it again, because we're always doing, new puppies will be coming in, and so we talked about that, and our razors, and that we can't wait.
And that would be great to have them at Air Hollywood. They can be blessed and move on.
Oh, I love that. I love that, Talaat. And speaking of that, Smiley and I believe that animals are healers and teachers. Talaat, can you share something that Lucky has taught you in your life?
Well, that is something very unique because I've always been terrified from dogs when I grew up, and because I was bitten when I was a kid. But my daughter insisted on having a dog, and I said, there's no way we're going to have a dog. I'm just not a dog person. She cried for 2 weeks to have a dog. Finally, I give in, and now I think that dog sleeps with me. Just to give you an idea. So attached to this dog, it's become like really the best thing ever happened to us in the family.
And I've witnessed this. Talaat loves this little dog. He just beams. And when you look at the pictures of Talaat with his little Lucky, you're going to see that. So one thing is opening doors, trust, acceptance. They're all those themes in what you just said. And Rick, what about you? Have the puppies shown you any lessons? I'm sure you could write volumes on that question.
Oh, yes. I think the biggest one is patience. Just working with the dogs and how they learn, and just to step back and be very patient and very positive, and then you get the good results. And
I like
think
that.
A good life lesson, just, patient in life, that things will come.
I like that. And that also translates to people. Be positive and wait for the good results. Often that's a really good strategy, don't you think? Well, thank you so much to Talaat, Captain of Air Hollywood K-9 Flight School, and to Rick Wilcox from Guide Dogs for the Blind for joining us on a Super Smiley adventure. From all of us on Pet Life Radio, especially from Smiley and Toot Sweet the Travel Kitty, Woof, and Super Smiles.
Let's Talk Pets, every week on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com.